All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast of Sane Leader 13 as we're preparing to get underway here. Today will be the 12th race of the season here at France, so we are crossing the halfway point of the season here. Already, the absolute favorites have established themselves pretty early on in this championship fight for XRLX3. MSCSF7 has been going up against the McLaren of Herbago 91 and the Red Bull of XRL Zola. In the Manufacturers Championship, it's been Flavor and Schumacher trying to hold off the lately charging duo of Meerkat and Herbago in the McLaren camp. The McLarens have found something special over a month ago when it came to their setups and has let them pull up a lot of speed. They have won 3 of the last 4 races in XRLX3, and that has made things very tough and very difficult for them going forward. That and more are the situations we're looking at as we prepare to get underway here at France. We do want to apologize for a delay for the start of the race. Due to the update with the Twitch app, it's now significantly more difficult and more problematic to go ahead and get properly jumped in between stuff. I really want to apologize for that, but we are now beginning to get underway. 14 drivers will be taking to the track, so this will be a very simple first round of qualifying. Just go out there, set a lap time, and you'll be good. As long as you set a clean, legal lap, you will advance to the next round. Well, you also obviously don't want to crash out and total your car as well. Coming onto the circuit here, we'll go ahead and run you through the points battle as they stand right now after the end of qualifying session 1. France, one of the circuits on the schedule that doesn't really have a whole lot in the way of walls. It's very hard to really take yourself out here. It's not saying it can't be done, but it's very hard. Also, this is the location where in last season, in the 100% races, we saw a race go here with no yellow flags in the 100%. Also, 2 weeks ago, back at Austria in X3, they finally, for the first time in their multi-year history, finally ran a race without yellow flags. We may see a repeat of that today. Coming into the party with me right now is XL Shakari. Shakari, welcome to the party. I'm going to be honest, mate. When you talk like that, you can make a woman go mad. So just keep on reading the signs of the racetrack. You know, we're on tonight, and the tires don't lie. I'm starting to feel this right. There is a likelihood. Well, let me check something. How about now? Do you have anything now?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will have to manually update and flip a switch every time I start a broadcast. Also, I can't have a account linked to my Xbox anymore, which for someone who also does a lot of
Lovely.
extra racing streaming on my own personal account, that makes things even more problematic for me. I now have to go and swap every time, and I don't have the benefit of linking either XRL or my personal account to my Xbox because of this update.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I understand
well,
why.
It's working now.
Yeah, I understand why the move has been done. Also, Galminator is the first driver out on track along with XRL Boothie, so great move early onto the track by the Alpines. But yeah, I understand why Twitch has done this change. It's to probably try and streamline the entire process for people who only stream on a single account. But for those of us who do on multiple stuff, because again, I'm contracted to do broadcasting for XRL, and I also do my own broadcasting, and that really has upset things. And I feel real bad for Zola, and Zola does something like 8 broadcasts in a week between 2 different XRL channels and his own personal one.
He does loads. Yeah, he does loads, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, Galminator, I've just seen Galminator warming up his tyres, trying to get that extra wear on the tyres. That's the only thing that he'll get from doing that.
Yeah.
But
14 drivers.
Few
Yeah, 14 drivers
Oh,
out on the
sorry.
track right now, so everyone just needs to go out there, set a single clean lap as quickly as possible, then jump into the pits and retire, and we can get out of Q1 relatively simply here. France, there's not a whole lot in terms of walls here. Everyone has no excuse to not advance.
Yeah, I doubt we'll get a safety car today. I doubt we'll get one. I don't know if we'll see any quick times in Q1. It doesn't really make a difference to what time you set. But Golminator has started a lap. Oh, saying that, who's that slowing down? It's just Herbie getting out of the way.
Well, here's the other thing to consider though, Shikari. 2 weeks ago, there was an update. You are no longer limited to just 5 sets of soft tires. You can now utilize a set of hard or medium tires. AK Herbie and Flavor are on medium tires, and look at Schumacher in 14th on the grid right now. He has the hard tires on, thinking long term here. And again, and I talk about this. I talk about this every week. You can probably make a drinking game out of this. You go out there, you turn a lap or two on a set of hard or medium tires. You basically knock the newness off them. They become scuffed tires. And what's the advantage? The only advantage that scuffed tires have over sticker tires, scuffed tires get back up to operating temperature faster than sticker tires here.
Yes, they do. Golminator invalidates. So Boothie will be the first one to set a time. I reckon with only 15 people, it's probably a better idea to go out on harder tyres, whether it be medium or hards. Just to save the softs, like you say. If you need the hards in the race, then, you know, they'll get up to temperature quicker and they'll still last long enough for what you need them for.
Yeah, you don't have to pound out 55,000 laps on them. Not to mention, you're still going to be putting almost no fuel in the car anyway. You're still going to want to be, somewhat nimble, unless you've had no setup experience. And, fresh hard or fresh medium tires with a low fuel tank, you're still going to be fast. It's kind of the big thing a lot of people misunderstand about Formula One as it has been since, 2009 or so? Weight is they're very sensitive to weight, these cars are. They've been this way since about 2009 after the massive size and dimension and the massive increase in weight that came with the 2009 and the later 2010 regulation upgrades. Because of that, you go ahead, you set a time on harder tires, but you have a lighter car, you still have the very, very high likelihood of being faster than someone who is on a heavier car with faster tires. And that is a Mercedes that went off there coming out of the first turn chicane.
Yeah, it was Snake who spun. Obviously no damage, just high temperature tires that will have to cool down.
At the top for the moment is Herbago 91, and again, and that's an Aston Martin. That is Mercedes-AMG, who has gone around there in Sector 3.
Gosh.
Backed it sideways against the wall, but he's able to keep going. I don't see any damage on the car, but for him this will be frustrating because this comes really late in the lap. He's not going to have much time to recharge the ERS and go for another run here.
I don't need to go for another run. Only got 15.
True, but you do need to set a time to advance.
You do, yes. So he'll go in the pits and come back out. Mantic sets a 32.5. And Golminator sets a 32.8.
XRL Snake in the middle of a lap right now after spinning at the start of it. He goes around again while we were riding on board. And that's the exact same area that Mercedes-AMG spun out at, so it seems like anyone with Mercedes on or in the car is having a bit of trouble. Schumacher on the hard tire sets a 35.255. I imagine we could probably see him drop that time to 32s, and now he has a spin out of turn 2.
Snake's lap is still valid, so he could set it if he wanted to, but he chooses to go into the pits. Herbie has invalidated his lap.
And here comes the AlphaTauri of Eggity. I know it's E-Diggity. I always say Eggity for some reason. It's so annoying.
Eggity.
Well, he will set
34-0 for him.
Yeah, 34-0. So right now, no one's in the 33s. And most of the field has either set a lap or they're in pit lane. And then in Herbago's case, it's both. He's already set a lap and he's in pit lane. And again, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. McLaren, Ferrari, that seems to be the big fight. It looks like it's a flashback back to the old 2007 way of going at things. Two very fast drivers in the McLaren camp, but they have shown at Baku they have no alliance with each other. They're willing to claw and fight against each other for results. Ferrari has one absolute number one driver and then an absolute number two driver, and they've been great. They've been podium finishes every single week for the last several weeks here, but that comes with the cost that the Ferrari does not seem to be as fast as the McLaren after the McLaren has found something with their setup that has let them run way lower wings across not just street circuits like we initially thought, but across all the tracks on the schedule.
Yeah, they're running low wings all over the shop. Rubargo's retired though, so he's happy. He can watch. Boothie's gone a bit quicker.
Yeah, he jumps up down to the 33s at the 33.393. Now Meerkat retires in the pits as well. So both of the McLaren say, hey, we're happy with this. No need to push. Herbie
Don't need to.
On the medium tires, still trying to get a lap in. Mercedes AMG is on another outlap, as is XRL Dave, as is XRL Zola. And again, I do want to say big thanks to XRL Zola for helping with troubleshooting this strange Twitch update. That is one of the reasons why this broadcast started late and why qualifying itself started late. I do want to apologize for that. That should not have happened, but this thing's going to happen. Herbie pulls up right behind the Alpine, but he really swerved aggressively to not run into the back of Alpine, and that may have scrubbed off all the extra speed he got. Yeah, he got a great toe, but I wonder if he may have scrubbed off a lot of extra speed by trying to swerve out of the way of the Alpine, because he closed a lot faster than he was anticipating.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? But we'll see how it affects his lap time. We'll see how it affects him. He's just starting in Sector 3. I'm not sure what the weather report like for the race. Have you heard anything?
Nope, we have not heard anything here as well, but that just makes things even more exciting. Either it stays dry the entire day and nothing comes of it, or we get extreme shock rain, and that's always so exciting when rain kind of comes out of nowhere and us in the booth, we don't notice it. Alright, out of the final corner is Herbie. He'll finally get a proper clean lap in. Not going to be a great time, I think, but it will be a 134.538. Now we see Schumacher on the hards. He's got even faster. Now on the hards, he is to the 33.3s. So what we're going to do is we're going to go silent for a lap and ride on board with the Mercedes of XRL Snake here and see what he can pull off on a flying lap with relatively clean track ahead in a low fuel car on soft tires here. Silent for a lap as we ride on board with the Mercedes X3 Veteran. Snake puts his Mercedes up to second, 132.272. Now, while that happened, Higgs Boston, who is the only driver on the in this round who is running on PC rather than Xbox. He had a spin coming onto the DRS straight on the back half of the circuit there. So while he is technically still in the middle of a legal lap, I would not be surprised at all if he goes ahead and tries to store up the ERS again and go for another flyer. While we were riding on board with Snake, we saw that you go through about 3/4 of your ERS on a full flying lap here when you have that thing fully activated. So, again, there are a lot of twisties here, but you have 3 really long straightaways, 2 of them DRS focused, and that really takes a big chunk out of the ERS usage here.
Yeah, it does. 3/4 is... It's not too bad for a track. It's about that for most tracks. About that for most tracks. Dave coming around the final twisty section.
Imperium SG is still in the pits right now, and he has not made an attempt to get his car onto the track. Boston sets a 158.084.
A lovely fast time for him.
Yeah, well, he had that spin in Sector 2. I do wonder if he's going to full commit to try and go faster here. The car will be a little bit lighter. And he invalidates. Well, I guess that answers it.
Yeah, Dave does a 33.9.
So Dave sets a time the fastest of everyone on the mediums right now, but interesting thing of note, Schumacher on the hards right now is still faster than everyone who has set their time on the mediums. As you see Mercedes-AMG now retiring in the pits. Here comes the Ferrari of Flavor. I imagine he also will probably retire in the pits. Also, credit to Herbie. Herbie had to go 3 laps before he set that time of 34.5. So there's been a lot of struggle in the Mercedes camp for Herbie and Snake. Snake, though, did eventually set time in the 32s. But in the end, I really want to point out this. Again, Herbago at the top, 6/10 faster than the next closest man at right now. He is 9/10 faster than his teammate. I think Herbago is going to try and kind of put his knee on the neck on the rest of the entire field, absolutely destroy them going forward, totally demoralize them. The moment this race goes green, if he's on the front row, I can see him trying to sin right to the front and just run away from the rest of the field today.
Yeah, we'll see what it's like in Q2. Can't really tell much from Q1. Just because no one's going out, so there's no real need for them to set a lap. Imperium, the only driver yet to set a time, is coming out of the pits.
So the Williams finally going to come out. You have a large range of times all the way from 158s to 131s. Frankly, he could set a 4-minute lap and it would still be fine.
Exactly. Yeah, you could.
But this, big slide, he saved it. Wow, he got caught in the arrow wake of Higgs Boston, who was going by to try and improve his lap, and Imperium got caught in the arrow wake, and the car tried to swap sides on him, coming at it too. He's kept the thing straight, so for the moment, it's good, but man, that got a lot closer than I think he wanted it to.
Oh, it really did. It really did. Luckily, there's no walls really around here that you can crash into. There is the odd wall like the turn he's just done, but not wrong. I would be very surprised if someone did DNF. He's just adding wear to his tyres here. Doesn't need to weave. But
and one of the advantages of waiting to the last possible moment to go out, you don't go through nearly as many sets of tires, and typically the track will be at its best rubbered up scenario near the end of the session. Now that doesn't apply quite as much if you don't have as many people going out, but still Imperium will have an advantage of being a little bit faster now than if he did at the start of the session. The counterpoint to that, though,
it still applies.
Yeah, but the counterpoint to that, though, is, again, it's Q1 and we only have 14 guys. Everyone's guaranteed to go through. It kind of doesn't matter. He didn't have to wait like this.
He didn't need to wait, no, but still, he might be putting on a real fast lap here. Showing people what he can do.
Higgs Boston finally jumps up with a proper time, 34.483. AK Herbie in the middle of an outlap as well. He wants to try and improve at the last moments as well.
Why is he doing that? He's using an extra set of tires just so that, for no reason. It's silly. Doesn't need to do that.
I do wonder if Herbie is going to just go out, do this single outlap, and pit before he starts his flyer, and he's just doing this to change this from a set of sticker softs to a set of scuffed softs for that easier activation advantage later.
Even then, it won't make any difference.
Yeah, that's my thoughts also.
That's what the outlap's for.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the point would be in that unless Herbie is planning on doing something crazy in the race strategy, like going soft to hard or
Uh,
hard to soft.
and that would be pretty crazy. That would be crazy indeed.
Nope, Herbie's committing.
Oh wow, he's starting a lap.
Yeah. I'm still watching
Nice.
Imperium, though, as he comes around through Sector 3.
Yeah. A tidy lap.
Yeah, less than a minute left in this session. So this will be Herbie's only real shot at setting a lap time here, as we see Higgs Boston now coming down to the pit lane. We'll likely see him retire in the pits.
It's a tidy lap from maybe a little bit slow on the final corner, but it doesn't really make much difference.
At the line will be a 135.491. Not a great time, but again, I don't think he's trying to go fast. I think he's just trying to get a lap in. For Herbie,
that's what he needs to do.
For Herbie, an invalidation. Yeah, so a complete waste in everything.
And with 10 seconds left in the session, that'll be that.
So only one driver sets a time in the 31s. That would be Herbago 91 in the McLaren. Then we see 4 drivers setting their times in the 32s. That's Extra Snake, Mantic Meerkat, Gulminator, and Edie Giggity. And then Schumacher is the only driver set time in the hards. He's in the 33s with a 33.3. Then you have Boothie with a 33.3 as well, but he did it on the softs. Dave set a time in 33.9s on the mediums. Then you get into the drivers who set times in the 34s. That's Higgs Boston, Herbie, Mercedes, and Flavor. Imperium set time in the 35s. Zola set time in the 37s. Zola's never been known for being a great qualifier, although that reputation is more from his X2 pace rather than X3. He's been a lot better at qualifying here in X3. I do fully anticipate, though, for Zola to really close the gap down in Q2 once he's on soft tires and probably a little bit better setup.
Yeah, I guarantee you that Zola will be much quicker in Q2 and Q3 if he gets there. Waiting for these drivers to get into the pit lane. Don't know why they would do that. Just cross the line, it's quicker. Quicker to cross the line than to go into the pits. We get to watch a lovely pit box now for a bit. We'll see a lot more in Q2. See what these drivers really can do. Mercedes may retire in the pits in the race if he keeps getting kicked. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
So in case we see it.
Yeah. That could end up being an issue. We have seen before times where AI has kind of had a negative effect on the race itself. I will never forget the time where Schumacher was going to do co-broadcasting with me in the X2 race at Baku, and the game, for whatever reason, he stepped aside and the game loaded him on track as a driver when he wasn't meant to. So that AI went from dead last, 17th, all the way up into second in a single circuit, just blew out the rest of the field, and it really had a massive effect on the way the race goes. Basically, the AI pulled a Winkelhock.
Alright, well, Q2 in about 20 seconds will be starting. Oh, here we go, look. Loading in now.
And this will be where things really start coming into play. 14 drivers going for 10 positions here. I would not be surprised if we see quite a few people in the drop zone. Again,
I
did get
hard. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I did get I got a weather report, and it looks like it's going to be dry in the race with 49% chance of rain.
Ooh, that's a pretty high chance. Ooh.
Yeah, it's about even chance, isn't it? And who was that? Golminator?
Yep.
Yeah, Golminator the first out again.
Yeah, for some
Set an early
reason,
time.
the Alpine drivers really like to try and be the first men out onto the track, because you look right behind Golminator, who's that next guy coming out on the track? It's his teammate Boothie. They really like being the first one out onto the track, kind of, break the circuit in a bit.
Yeah, it's the two Alpines, and then it's Mercedes AMG, and then Herbie, and then Snake. And now a Ferrari of MSC. And
Here comes a
Herbago.
McLaren down the line now, and that would be Herbago. Again, a three-way fight in the championship right now between Schumacher, who leads, over Herbago and Zola. Zola, Schumacher, Herbago have all been in podium or top 4 points paying positions for almost the entire season thus far. Right now, Zola and Herbago have more wins. Schumacher has a higher average finish at this stage in the season. We're only about halfway through, so things could change a lot, but we definitely know who the breakaways are right now. The big question is going to be attendance. Attendance is going to be the number one thing that will come into play when it comes to the championship. That and, avoiding accidents. If I do want to go ahead and take us back to last season when we were doing the full season run in F1 2021, we had 3 drivers. At that time, it was a Red Bull, a Mercedes, and a Ferrari going at it. And we saw every single week you would have a Mercedes. They would do great, and then they would be crashed out. Then the Ferrari would do great, then he would crash out. And then the Red Bull would do great, and then he would crash out. And no one was really able to pull away in the championship hunt until the second to last race of the season. In that case, the Ferrari locked up the title early, but that fight was a 3-way fight from the season opener all the way to almost all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could see a similar thing right now. Schumacher has a race worth of points in the lead right now, but all it takes is one DNF.
Race win. Exactly. All it takes is one DNF, and people behind him are back in the race. We're seeing a similar fight in X2 as to what you were describing, where there's a lot of drivers within a race win of the league leader.
And then the X2 fight also gets even more complicated, because when you look at the X2 fight as it is right now, you have anywhere from 1 to 3 drivers who are supposed to be X1 tier. X1 had to be shuttered due to low attendance because this game is not worth the X1 drivers' time by their interpretation. But there are about 3 X1 drivers who start at the back in every X2 race. They fly their way up through the field, and they keep taking points away. So it's a lot harder for the drivers who are farther out to properly close down the championship fight. Put things in perspective, Extra Veloce had to serve a race ban at Austria 2 weeks ago.
He did,
But in the end, that changed absolutely nothing, because only one of the drivers ahead of him in the points ended up taking home anything, and that was only a single point. It changed almost nothing. X2 has been very, very bizarro, to say the least, in their own championship fight. And if you want to go ahead and
very
see more
open.
and if you want to go ahead and see more about the X2 Championship fight, I will go ahead and I will say, hey, and about an hour after this race is over, tune back into the channel and you can catch the X2 fight as it goes on live. Oh, hello. What in the devil? Okay, that was weird. Golminator goes to the top, 32.446. And now we're going to see Snake. He's going to be coming to the line, as will AK Herbie. They'll be the next 2 across the line.
Can they beat a 32.4? Let's see, 33.2 for Herbie and a 32.2 for Snake. So Snake goes into top position.
All right, so check this out. 13th on the grid right now. Schumacher SF7, he is on the hard tires.
The hards again. Will he be able to match the pace of Herbie?
No, absolutely not. It's going to be a 32, I think. 33, 33.279.
33.2. Not too much difference. Only 8 thousandths of a second difference, though, between 3rd and 4th.
And mind you, if they filled that Ferrari up with a lot of fuel, you can go ahead, calm down, recharge the ERS this lap, and then go for another flyer. That's what he did in the first round of qualifying. So maybe Schumacher...
Yeah, you could do that.
I wonder if in the Ferrari camp, they're betting on running a 2-stop strategy, because they're putting a lot more wear on this hards now than what I thought they would. Maybe they're going to try and go soft, or medium, soft, or something like that in the race itself. Also, they could be looking They could be looking at the weather report, and they may say, hey, there's a high likelihood in today's race that there ends up being rain, and in the event that rain comes, he may be thinking, hey, I just need to start on the mediums and drag the mediums out as long as they can, and then jump onto the intermediates when the rain kicks in.
It depends though. With a 49% chance of rain, that could not happen. That very easily couldn't happen, and they'll be stuck on the two-stop strat if that's what they choose to do. We might find also that the wear on the hards is not as much as we think it is.
True, but typically the counterpoint to that is when you do have scenarios where the hard tires aren't wearing that much, that also means usually that the hard tires have absolutely no speed compared to the mediums. And that also could have a massive effect on the race, because throughout the majority of this season, the meta has been start on mediums, go to hards, or start on hards, go to mediums. That's been it. That's pretty much been
medium,
the only
hard,
strategy.
medium.
Yeah, but if we see an event today where the hards just don't have any pace, you can get a lot of laps out of them, but they have no real pace compared to the mediums or softs, maybe in the Ferrari camp they are onto something by going medium, soft, soft, and doing a two-stopper, thinking that they can make up all that time. It would be fitting if they did. I do believe it was France in 2004 where the Ferrari camp pulled out a 4-stop strategy in the race and just absolutely demolished the field. It was such a blowout that encouraged the FIA to make one of the dumbest rule changes ever for 2005 and ban tire changes for an entire season, just to keep that from happening again.
That was terrible. That was a terrible, terrible time, but at least we're not in 2005 now. Mercedes AMG will be the next to cross the line. He's just started sector 3. He's on the soft tyres. He's been kicked and he's come back in again. I had to slow down a bit there because otherwise it would have invalidated.
Final 2 corners now.
Yeah, around the final corner. Putting on the pace open in the DRS. Maybe caught the curb a little bit too much there.
This will be a respectable time. I think it's a 33.681. Not the fastest, but it's respectable for now, considering the hiccups that happened there.
Yeah, he sits in 10th place. Slowest of the drivers that have set a lap.
Okay, so Schumacher is coming out now, and now he is on the medium tire. So he still is not willing to commit to the softs, but I think Schumacher is trying to save every set of soft tires possible for the shootout in Q3, and that's why he's not touching them with a 39.5-foot pole. Flavor invalidated on his lap. Boothie and Higgs Boston right now are on out laps as AK Herbie comes down to the pit lane. So at the moment, Mercedes with a 33.681 is on the hot seat. He needs to find a way to improve.
Really does. Flavor's just started his lap again.
Now, Mercedes right now is going really slow. I think he's trying to recharge the ERS a bit. He's at 48% in Sector 3, and you use about 75% of your ERS battery around the lap here. It's not looking great for his ability to fully recharge the ERS. But the counterpoint is that the car will be a little bit lighter, though, fuel-wise.
Needs to brake a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Boothie also is coming down. He's about to start his flyer. And Herbago once again retires. Herbago not as fast at the top, but still he's the only one in the 31s at 31.9. And what did I tell you? Zola did improve a lot more than anticipated. Yeah. Zola is second on the sheets right now, 32.077.
Yeah, Flavor will be the next to set a lap. Mercedes actually is coming across the line. I think that's Mercedes anyway, coming across. No, that's not Mercedes. Sorry, that's Higgs coming across the line to start his lap. Flavor is going to set a time very, very shortly, just around the final couple of corners now.
With the way it's looking now, I think if you set a time in the 32s, you're safe and you're guaranteed to make it to the next round. 33s are going to be a lot more iffy here.
I think mid to low 32s, you're fine. Flavor says 33.3, which pushes Mercedes down into 11th.
So Mercedes is now on the outside looking in. Flavor is on the bubble. Here comes Boothie now. He'll be the next driver to set a time. And critically for Boothie is that he is caught behind the McLaren of Mantic Meerkat. And, oh, thank you, Meerkat. He pulls right off the track to let the track be free for the Alpine.
Lovely.
Oh, and Boothie goes around!
Big spin there for Boothie.
So now the focus will go to Higgs Boston because while Boothie is still legal, it's not going to be a flying lap and it won't be competitive.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long is left because of that yellow flag, but we will see any second how long's left. Oh, he's lucky not to invalidate Higgs. There's about 4 minutes left, so Boothie does have time to go into the pits and change his tyres, refuel. And Higgs' final corner opens up his DRS.
Lays on the ERS and coming across the line.
33.2 puts him up to 8th position.
So now Schumacher on those hard tires are on the outside looking in, but like I said, he's moved from the hards to the mediums, so he's trying his best not to touch the softs. I don't know if this is going to work out for Schumacher, though, because if he doesn't advance, because he's not going to have time to jump in and throw on the softs at the way this is going. And if Schumacher doesn't advance, this will be huge for championship contention because second and third in the points are 1 and 2 on the timesheets right now.
Yeah, he's set a personal best, Sector 1.
Imperium, the only driver left who has yet to set a time at the moment. And Imperium actually has given himself a good amount of time. If he times it right, Imperium could actually go ahead, set this lap, then kind of back off, recharge the ERS, and go for one final Hail Mary after the clock cuts to its end in this session. Herbie and Mantic Meerkat are coming back out for outlaps, so they want a chance to go a little bit faster. I don't know why Meerkat does that, but Herbie I understand, because right now Herbie is 9th. Schumacher is on the bubble, and Herbie would be the next person knocked out if Imperium sets a proper flyer here. It doesn't look like it's going to be great for Imperium as he's coming to the line. This is not going to be a good lap at all. 135.076, that puts him down to 13th right now.
Schumacher is going to set a 32.2, puts him up to 6th position.
And he does that on the medium tires.
Flying lap on the mediums for him.
All right.
Mantic, I understand, coming out, but just in case, I think Mantic is going out.
All right, Herbie is on an outlap right now. He needs to improve. Flavor, the number 2 Ferrari camp, it's not looking good. He's on pit lane now. I don't know if he's going to have time to get out onto the track and get another flyer in. Imperium
I think there might just be enough time if he does it now. But it'd be very close. Dave is coming across the line. But it's a slow time. He'll be going again. Boothie is not having a great time. Boothie not having a great time in 14th. He's on a flying lap and it'll be his last chance, I think.
This is not looking great for Imperium either. Imperium out of fuel and out of ERS, and he's 8/10ths down, so Imperium is not likely to advance. Here comes Flavor coming onto an outlap now. It's going to be close on time. He cannot afford to make a mistake.
He's going to really have to fly.
Flavor needs to improve by roughly 0.03 of a second. Actually, it's going to be more like 32 thousandths, but roughly 0.03 of a second ahead of Herbie. And that's assuming that Herbie isn't going to go faster. And that's not looking like it will happen. All right, now Herbie begins his flyer.
Now Boothie is actually setting an all right lap here. Just coming around the final couple of corners. Goes a bit wide there. Nearly went into the pit lane.
Boothie in prior seasons has been known for his qualifying prowess and not so great in the race. That's turned around a bit. Now he's a little bit better balance between the two.
That's a 34.
But that balance is not really working out well for him because right now he's 13th, and unless he has some massive advantage, he is very low on ERS, and I don't think he's going to be able to improve much. McLaren around. That's Mantic Meerkat in the chicane on the backstretch.
In 7th place, Mantic. May not be able to improve, but I mean he's in 7th, so he's still got a chance.
Herbie, something has gone wrong with Herbie. He is slow. I think he's given up. Flavor has come to the line. Is Flavor up at all?
Flavor's not up at all now. He's going to do.
But he's got a time for one more lap. Flavor has one more lap to maybe go for it.
Wow.
And he's not the only one. Mercedes trying to make something happen, but he's down by 0.3. Mercedes may not make it either.
Oh, an awkward final corner.
Yeah, this is going horribly for Mercedes. He's not going to
31,
advance.
32, 33. No, he's not going to advance. With a 34.4, it's not enough.
And Boothie is
So
down on
Boothie
time
then-
as well.
Yeah, Boothie down on time.
And for Boothie, he needs
he
to
can
pull
make
out a
it
Hail
up.
Mary. He needs to find 8/10 somehow in this final sector, and I don't think that's happening.
Nah.
Yeah, he
Goes
aborts
into
into
the
the pits. Yeah, he knows it's not happening. So can Flavor make something of it?
So-
He's down by a 10th out of Sector 1. What about Sector 2? He's up!
He's up by-
He's up by a quarter of a second! Can he keep it together in the final sector?
Up by 2.5 tenths. That's a really awkward corner, that one, but he manages it all right. Doesn't hit the apex fully, but he's got it perfect for the next turn. Needs to be careful not to invalidate, which he doesn't.
Oh, that was a horrible run through
And-
the final corner, though. I don't think this is going to be enough. Coming onto the line. 1:33. No, he lost it all in the final sector. He's not going to advance, and Herbie barely makes it into the next round.
Wow. 33.4 for Flavor, just a 10th down, is not enough to get him into the top 10, and he'll be starting in 11th. And he will be knocked out alongside Mercedes, Boothie, and Empyrean.
Well, that brings us to an end here for Q2. Got a little bit tense there, but it seems like no one was able to overtake Herbie. And Herbie, while he has definitely been struggling, when he's got a lap together, it's definitely put together well. And the thing I'm most impressed at, Schumacher, 6th fastest, did it on the medium tire. So Schumacher continues to just not touch the softs whatsoever. Now he has every opportunity to go ahead and use the softs. And look at this, on the medium tire, Schumacher is just a bit more than 5/10 off of Herbago. I think he's going to be a sleeper shot for pole position. And I do think he's got a shot for the front row pretty much locked up. Also, something else to note, look at that. The top 7 all within 1 second of each other. So while Herbago set an absolutely flying lap in the first lap qualifying, it's not looking like he has such the gap that he did earlier. This could get very interesting if Herbago gets on the pole but can't get away from the field, and then DRS happens, and he starts having to fight off overtake attempts on the DRS straights.
Right then, Q3.
10 drivers fighting for the top 10 starting positions, and most importantly, pole position, which awards a point.
And there looks to be a Mercedes heading out the garage. But it's actually Golminator who's first out once again in the Alpine.
Yeah, and I said before, there are way too many cars
Alongside.
in this. There are way too many cars on the current F1 grid that have some variant of blue as their paint scheme. I really, really wish that Alpine would go back to yellow.
Yeah, well, he's the first out alongside MSC and Herbago, and who's that? Herbie? No, sorry, Snake, and then Ediggity and Mantic Meerkat. 6 drivers coming out on track to start with.
Is that me, or does the track look a lot darker? Like the cloud cover's gotten a lot thicker?
It has, yes. A little bit. It's just overcast. I don't think there'll be any rain. And if there is, it'll be after qualifying's done.
So 7 of our 10 drivers get out into the circuit as quickly as they can, and Gulminator trying to seize the day, go out there and immediately set a great time. Great job on Gulminator, because both of the prior sessions, he went out there early, set a good lap early on, and didn't have to worry about it. So Gulminator has not been very abusive with his tires, and he has a little bit more speed potentially, because he has been saying all his times earlier in the session when the track's not properly rubbered up. So there is a possibility that Gulminator could end up qualifying higher than where his prior results in Q2 and Q1 have been saying. Now we're seeing the Alfa Romeo of XRL Dave coming down pit lane. I do want to go ahead and say that the Alfa Romeos, Dave a little bit more because he's been showing up a bit more often, but both the Alfa Romeo drivers have been putting together some really, really strong runs in qualifying. Their ability to convert it into good race finishes have been a little bit questionable, but credit where credit's due, they have most definitely been able to put together some great runs in qualifying as this season has gone on. I don't know, man. Those clouds are really, really dark looking. And even if we don't get rain, that will have a knock-on effect that the track, its surface temperature is going to be a lot colder. It's going to be a lot more difficult to keep proper heat and temperature in the tires and get the tires up to temperature.
You know, more than the track temperature is going to be lower, so it will affect the tires in the car with the cloud cover. Still looks warm though. Gulminator's invalidated.
So that puts the advantage to to Herbago, and Herbago's pulling over in the middle of the flying lap. Herbago pulls over, so now it's Schumacher who goes to the top. And for the first time today, we see what the Ferrari can maybe do on the soft tire compounds.
Yeah, it's going to be really quick, this. He's X2 pace, really. It should be quick enough for a top 3. Mediums are only half a second quicker, which is why he could set the time that he did in Q2. Half a second slower, sorry.
All right, coming across the line, Schumacher will set the time everyone will be going for. It will be a 1:31.629.
Yeah. As expected.
And the next driver to cross will be Snake with a 32.8. Herbago, who quizzically pulled over in the middle of that lap, now goes for a flyer. He already set 42.411. He's got the ERS recharge. He's also going to be a little bit lower on fuel. Meerkat in the McLaren sets a 31.998, and Herbago on single lap pace is usually a bit faster than Meerkat, so we could see Herbago take the pole position back from Schumacher here.
We could.
Herbie is set a 33.274 as well. Dave is coming through Sector 3, as is Zola. They will be the 7th and 8th drivers to set times, assuming they've not invalidated. I take that back. Dave has invalidated this lap. Zola is still in the middle of a proper flyer, though.
Yeah, it's looked like an alright lap, this. Should be alright. Definitely in the 32s. Maybe even 31s. He's used all of his ERS deploy, though.
Yeah, Zola used all the
But
ERS
still.
allowed. 31.716. Herbago flying
Less
right
than a
now,
10.
but that McLaren is very low on fuel. This is going to be the lightest and fastest that car is going to be. Coming out of the final corner, he'll pop open the DRS, he'll lay on the ERS, full throttle to the line, and Herbago will set a lap time of 1:31.5. That puts him ahead of Schumacher and on the provisional pole by 0.12 of a second. Dave retires into the pits after invalidating his flyer, so he will have the advantage of being one of the earlier drivers to go out for a second shot at this. So it's Herbago versus Schumacher versus Zola, the top 3, all within 0.21 of each other. And if we want to go ahead and include the number 2 McLaren driver, Mantic Meerkat, the top 4 are all within half a second of each other. There's a lot of time open for those drivers to grab.
Yeah, plenty of time. the times are pretty spread out. I know there's 4 drivers in the 31s, but then there's a big jump from 4th to 5th of nearly a second. So there's a lot of time there to be gained from the drivers still to set a lap, and the ones that have already set a lap in 5th, 6th, and 7th.
All right, Dave has come back out onto the circuit for another outlap. Gallminator and Higgs Boston coming across the line to start Flyers. I say that Higgs invalidated going through the last 2 corners, so this entire lap is going to have absolutely no value to him whatsoever.
Oh, and Dave has a little spin there from Dave.
He's underway, though. And again, this is only his outlap, so it's not too bad, as long as he didn't knock too much of the good stuff off the tires. McLaren coming back out on track. That would be Mantic Meerkat. Meerkat's going to be right there behind Eggity, who is on an outlap as well.
Yeah, Gallminator's just started his lap, just crossed sector 1 with a 23.1.
He invalidated his first shot, so now he's trying to set up a nice, good second shot. You're going to want to be in the 31s if you want to contend for the front 2 rows. That seems to be the way it's looking right now. What can he pull out? Going into the chicane on the back straightaway.
Very skiddy.
And at the end of sector 2, what's the time?
It's a 51.5. 51.5 is sector 2 time, or after sector 2, sir. So he's into the final sector.
Oh, and he's around!
Oh, a spin there.
Needs to be careful, because here
We'll
comes
have
the
to wait
AlphaTauri of Eggity going by.
He's all right now. Just
Knocks
misses
down the
ball.
Armico barrier. And he knocks down the Armico barrier, and the FAA is not happy about that, so they will penalize him and say this lap is not legal. But Gallminator should have another shot for another flyer lap. The problem for the Alpine, though, is that he doesn't have enough ERS to go full beans this upcoming lap. So, yeah, this might not be going as well as he wanted it
it's not going to be a great lap. He did have enough time as well to go into the pits. Maybe he just wanted to get it done.
Maybe. Well, the car will be a little bit lighter in fuel, so he might be hoping that that will help. Dave coming through the backstretch chicane right now. Mantic Meerkat in the middle of his flyer, trying to go a little bit faster. And mind you, in the Drivers' Championship, it's Herbago, Schumacher, and Zola, with Meerkat having a very outside, possible with a very outside chance at the championship. But in the manufacturers is McLaren versus Ferrari. Ferrari has had 2 drivers in the points-paying positions almost every race this entire season. But every time that the McLaren shows up, McLaren, when they have both of their drivers, massively outscore the Ferraris. That could end up closing the gap down the manufacturers' championship again today. So Herbago and Schumacher now on outlaps right now. In fact, Herbago is actually lined up behind his teammate Meerkat. So if he times it right, Herbago can get a nice little toe off of him down the front straightaway at the start of his flyer. The counterpoint to that, though, is that Meerkat would have to get off track right away in turn 1. And those McLaren drivers do not seem to be all on board with the team playing thing. Like I said, it seems like a small repeat of the 2007 Formula 1 season. All right, here comes Meerkat to the line. Is he going to be any faster as he crosses it? The time he sets now at 1:30.972. He's only 27 thousandths faster, no closer to the front than he was. Well, slightly closer. I say no closer, it's really slightly closer. Gallminator trying to get his lap in, but he's low on fuel. He's out of ERS. He's set at 32.566. That's respectable. It will put him in contention for the 3rd row, but the front 2 rows seem to be denied to anyone who's not in a Red Bull, Ferrari, or McLaren at the moment. And Higgs Boston coming down pit lane. Higgs Boston going to try and get a lap in late in this session.
Next across the line will be MSC, but he's really slow. He's saved up his ERS for one more flying lap, which he will start this lap. he'll start on this lap that he's about to start on. Zola is coming around the final couple of corners to try and beat his time.
Now this was his outlap. This was Schumacher and Zola's outlap, and the game removed the outlap ticker really early on. I don't know why it does that. It screws with me even.
Mantic lucky not to invalidate there.
Schumacher's up by 14 hundredths in Sector 1. That alone would be enough to put him ahead of Herbago. The counterpoint to that, though, is that Herbago is up by 15 hundredths coming out of Sector 2. Time's up. Over. Plow!
And Herbago sets a 131.1, so Schumacher needs to find half a second here.
And that was timed perfectly.
Half a second.
That was timed perfectly by the McLarens because Herbago got a toe off of Meerkat down the front stretch coming to the end of the lap.
Yeah, he got a little one. A little
Schumacher,
toe.
yeah, Schumacher is up now by 0.3. I don't think that's going to be enough, though.
There's an Aston Martin. Oh, that is one that's already finished.
Yeah, Boston came out onto the track too late to get a lap in, so Boston will start 10th by default. Out of the final corner is
Zola
Schumacher.
then. Oh, Schumacher, sorry. My apologies. Does not do enough to go fastest.
Yeah, he closed a bunch.
Slower.
Yeah, he went faster on his second lap compared to Herbago, but Herbago had a better time overall. And Zola across the line, does he improve? No, Zola is down on time.
Not quite.
Ooh. And for Zola and Schumacher, this is going to be really rough because they're going to have a McLaren up ahead of them that they're going to have to be trying to run down. And then they're going to have a McLaren behind that's going to be trying to pass them. And then even within the McLaren camp, they're going to be fighting there as well. Herbie across the line.
Herbie. It was a 32 something.
Yeah, he took off a bunch of time. He'll go up to 7th there at the end. So good job by the Mercedes driver.
Nice. Higgs, unfortunately, was not able to set a lap time.
Yeah.
In the end. Yeah. But Herbago starts in pole position. MSC will be second.
Look at that gap. The top two separated by less than 1/10 of a second. And then look at their third and fourth. Yeah. They're both within only 1/4 of a second of each other. Then it's a big gap. And then 5th through 9th, all relatively close in the time. So I think we're going to see a lot of breaking away here if we have a long green flag run to start this race.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, I'm just going to go grab a drink. I will be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, and here in the broadcasting booth, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look over the championship standings as they are right now. All right, so championship. Oh, and this is going to be interesting. We're starting on a wet weather racetrack. But anyways, looking real quickly at the points as they are right now. 10th place, AlphaTauri has 41 points. 9th is Williams with 46. 8th is Mercedes with 59 points. 7th is Aston Martin with 73 points. 6th is Alpine with only 82. 5th is Alfa Romeo with 85 points. 4th is Haas with 90 points, but they don't seem to be running today. 3rd is Red Bull with 135 points. 2nd is McLaren with 200 points. On the top of the Constructors' Championship is Ferrari with 224 points. In the Drivers' Championship, this is how it looks. 17th is Imperium SQ with 4 points. 16th is Boothby, 116 with 10. There's a tie for 14th between XL Snake and Gallman Air. They both have 19 points on the season right now. 13th is Mercedes AMG with 20 points. 12th is Egedy 75 with 23 points. There's a tie for 10th between Higgs, Boston, and Fratters. They both have 24 points each. 9th is Plastic Love with 26 points. 8th is XRL Dave with 33 points. 7th is AK Herbie with 39 points. 6th is Collie Boy with 52 points. 5th is XRL Flavor with 59 points. 4th is Mantic Meerkat with 78. Then we get to your championship contenders. 3rd is Herbago with 122 points. 2nd is XRL Zola with 127 points. Leading at the top of the point standings is Schumacher SF7. He has 165 25 points. So that means there is a 38-point swing in Schumacher's favor at the top of the sheets right now. And then that gap is even bigger. It goes to 43 points between Schumacher and Herbago. But a good run by either of those drivers could start seeing that gap close down a bit. So wet weather start, and this really throws everything out into the wild cards, and it's going to be really hard to tell who's going to have the advantage now because of this. And I believe everyone will likely start by default on the intermediate tires. Okay. So right now we're just waiting to get underway here. Wet weather start, and this will have a massive effect. We're waiting on Sha'Carri to join us back in the broadcasting booth as well. Hopefully Sha'Carri will jump back in before we get underway for the race itself. But a wet weather start, this is really going to have a massive effect on everything because I think most of the field were not running wet weather setups. They were running dry setups. If anyone did have a wet weather setup, they'll have an advantage. But the old adage is a dry setup on a wet track is faster than a wet setup on a dry one. And I think that's going to be what everyone went for in today's race.
And I'm on the grid as well, so...
Yeah, make sure you pull over and retire as soon as you can.
Oh, I am. Don't know why it does that. It's very silly. Let's go. When they post the message. Here we go. Starting now. I do have the Twitch chat up as well, just in case. I haven't put a setup on or anything. There's no point. I'm going to have to do this formation lap as well. Great. Well, I'll get a lap of practice. That's always something.
All right, but the entire field is going to be on intermediate tires for the start. So a very unexpected start to this race, to say the least, being wet weather. And again, like I said, while you were away, I think the entire field had set up their cars under dry circumstances.
Keep an eye on Imperium. He's in AI. Imperium's in AI at the start of the formation lap. Shouldn't be doing that. He should get out of AI as soon as he knows what time we were going. You see Mercedes is disconnected. There's not much we can do about that. And now he's out of AI. And he's back in AI again.
Hey,
Lovely.
Sha'Carri, while you're there, do you have any idea what when the rain's going to clear up?
I didn't look.
Oh.
To be honest, I didn't look. Imperium, if you're watching, get out of AI. You shouldn't be in it. Snake has left the session. Thank you, Imperium.
All right, at the front, Herbago. Oh, wow, look at Herbago with that big drift out of the final corner, really trying to throw some heat into the tires. He just absolutely lights it up and throws that car 30 degrees sideways through the last corner there.
Oh, fuck.
All right, as the grid's lined up now. And we're off, we're underway. And a great start by Mantic Meerkat, but he can't seem to go anywhere. Schumacher is going nowhere at the start. Look at Herbie! Herbie jumps from last row all the way up into second, side by side with Goldenair, who had an amazing start as well. And they're going to play spoiler in this, as Herbago is already scooting away with the lead. Here comes Zola trying to fight back. Schumacher, your championship leader, has had an incident and gone all the way to the back of the grid. And this has been a massive, horrendous start for so many drivers across the grid. And Herbago is walking away. Herbie right there behind the McLaren, looking to try and get him. Possibly we stay green for the moment. Zola is in fourth, Herbago leads. This could be massive for the championship.
It really could. Back here, not much happening. I did see some wing damage. There's a lot going up ahead, though. There's a lot going on up ahead, though, that I haven't seen yet.
Dave may have something wrong with the car. He is running abnormally slow off the throttle, going down the straight as he tries to hold Flavor behind him. Meerkat pulls up behind Zola, tried to make a run at the Red Bull driver. Struggling a bit here in the rain in Sector 3. Now they slowed down. This is going to be, we need to be really careful putting power down. You don't want to spin around here and drop all the way potentially to the back of the grid. Zola trying to make a run on Golminator right now. Golminator not able to keep pace with Herbie, and Herbie is slowly losing touch with Herbago at the front.
Imperium and E-Diggity are side by side back here. And Imperium gets past E-Diggity. I'm not going to try anything. That's silly.
Higgs Boston has a time penalty for track violations in the first lap alone, so it's not looking good for him going forward. Imperium now gets by Dave, as Dave has to pit to repair damage by the looks of it. A lot of drivers having to do stuff. All right,
Higgs
well,
with a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, all right, well, coming to the party now is Extra Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri, one lap of absolutely nothing. What do you have to say?
Oh, I'm glad to be out of that rain. Get into the nice warm commentary booth.
Schumacher muscles his way by Mercedes, so Schumacher already back up to 8th. Now he sets his sights on Boothby, who is in 7th. And once Schumacher is by Boothby, it'll be a long, green stretch of track ahead. He just needs to clear the Alpine as quickly as possible. There is, oh, big twitch by Boothby coming out of the back straightaway. Schumacher has a perfect run lined up. He'll be side by side with him going down the straight and into the braking zone. This should go in the Ferrari's favor. So yeah, now Schumacher will have 5 seconds worth of clean air ahead, but he's still way off the fight. Meerkat fighting with Zola, and he's gonna get by him.
Oh,
and they make contact, and Meerkat's around, and Zola's around as well.
What happened there?
And
Goodness
third and
me.
fourth, and they went side by side into that high-speed corner, and there just wasn't enough grip, and they both went off. This promotes Schumacher up in the fifth.
And
Snake goes up in the fourth.
They've both got 10-second time penalty. They've both got 10-second time penalties for exceeding track limits. Surely that's going to get removed for one or both, for at least one of them. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. From the onboard, it looked like Zola went into the back of Meerkat just very slightly, and then Meerkat lost grip and went and spun him out. So we'll have to see what the stewards have to say about that one.
Barbago sets the fastest lap thus far, 144.320. Absolutely no one is on the is matching his pace at the moment. Gulminator is trying to catch Herbie. He closes in a bit, and then they kind of stretch out. It's like a slinky between second and third. Snake, 2.5 seconds out of this fight, roughly, not close enough to really do anything. And again, we're under rain conditions, so there is no DRS. Every overtake you see on the track is 100% driver skill right now.
Watching Gulminator and Snake. Sorry, Gulminator and Herbie. My apologies. And without DRS, it looks tricky to overtake, but Gulminator's got the pace, and they're side by side here, going into the chicane.
Boothby has crashed out! Boothby has crashed out, Mercedes has crashed out as well! A multi-car accident, as Boothby and Mercedes has had an accident, that will be a full course yellow.
A safety car.
There may not be very many walls to hit here, but there are definitely other cars to hit here.
The one place where there's walls on the track is where they both crashed out, and we have a safety car. Perfect time actually for Mantic and Zola to get rid of those 10 seconds.
The game doesn't let you get rid of 10-second penalties. The game doesn't let you get rid of 10-second penalties. Yeah. The one that's really benefits, though, is Dave. Dave will get a chance to catch up to the back of the grid now, at least.
Yeah, and that's a good thing for him. He's going to catch up. But all that time that Hubargo gained is going to be lost again because of this safety car.
But still, this has been a massive plus for Herbago. He held onto the start, but Herbie and Gulminator had absolutely massive starts, went from the third and fourth rows up to second and third. All right, coming to the party right now is XRL Boothby. Boothby, gigantic accident. What happened between you and Mercedes back there?
I was dropping it. I don't know what happened to him. So I guess I collected him. I have no idea, to be honest. I was like, well, came out the corner and put my foot down. Yeah, this is going towards the barrier. I don't really know what happened behind me. I don't know if he hit me or I collected him.
Alright, it's a shame to see you taken out like this. Do you think you can rebound next week?
No, not here.
Alright, well, I appreciate the honesty. Also coming to the party right now is Mercedes AMG. Mercedes, make sure your audio is included. Big accident between you and Boothby coming onto the backstretch DRS zone. What happened?
No, so I saw Boothby spin, and then I tried to avoid him, and my car just went into oversteer, and I tried to correct it, and just went straight into the barrier. Just skidded and went straight into the barrier. I didn't hit Boothby at all.
Yeah, dude.
Well, nasty impact. Do you think you can rebound next week, Mercedes?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's not been a decent weekend due to internet lights, so we'll bounce back.
Aye.
Alright, well, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Shame to see you taken out this early. So now here at France, we are down to 12 cars, and more interestingly, rain has stopped falling. The track is still wet, but rain has stopped falling, and your leader, Herbago, is coming into the pits. So Herbago is going to come into the pits. He wants to get off of the intermediate tires. And mind you, Meerkat and Zola already did the same. They've gone to mediums.
They're already on mediums. If everyone pits to mediums now, then those two are going to be in an amazing position.
I don't know how good this strategy is going to work out, though, because now Herbago's dropped all the way back to 8th, and everyone ahead of him on track are still on intermediates, and the track does still look wet. Higgs Boston also going to go ahead and hit. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Yeah, I don't know. This could end up being huge.
Oh, it really could. Mantic actually overtakes Herbago. By the end of this lap, if they've got caught up and everyone pits, then we've got our top 3 here.
And that could bring Zola back into the championship fight. Because mind you, Flavor is Schumacher is 4th on track right now. Now he is ahead of his teammate Flavor, so that he won't have to worry about the negative impacts of double stacking. But still, he will drop likely all the way back. And look at this, Dave pit as well, and Higgs Boston, he not only did he pit, he put on hard tires.
Going hard to the end then. If they go that far.
It's a bold strategy, Patton. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race now. With 22 laps to go. With 22 laps to go, safety car probably will be in this lap if Higgs and Dave catch up. Although with 30 seconds, I'm not sure.
Well, every lap under yellow flag is another chance for these drivers in the top 7 to go ahead and make a stop and get onto dry tires. The counterpoint to that, though, is that the track is still damp, and even when the track properly dries out, I mean, by that point, when the track is properly dried out, it will have to be on slick tires. But when the track is properly dried out, it's still going to be slick because there's going to be no rubber, no grip in the circuit by default. So it's going to be rough in the crossover pit phase.
Exactly. It's going to be a green track when it does go fully dry. Yeah,
pace car's not coming in, so yeah. We're going to go into a lap. I think the track's going to be basically dry. Does anyone in the top pit this time? Yeah, Herbie pits, Golden pits, Snake is going to pit. That's going to be everyone except for Flavor. Flavor stays out in the Ferrari. So a little bit of Ferrari team orders.
That's very interesting.
Well, I think Flavor is going to do his best to try and hold up the McLarens and Zola a bit, so that way his teammate Schumacher have a chance to close in. Well, yeah, he won't be able to do it under safety car. He won't be able to do it under safety car, but on the green flag, Flavor might try to do everything he can, burn up ERS and everything, to try and force Meerkat or Herbago to take a bad line in 1 and 2, anything to compromise the McLaren's run, so that way everyone else can close back in.
Maybe. The other option is that the Ferraris just didn't want to double stack.
That is a potential option, but whether or not they double stacked, it wouldn't have mattered. Flavor was going to end up at the back of the grid anyway, because the entire field is going to be caught up here. Herbie, who is now in 5th, is only 9 seconds out. But yeah, the track is dry now. And if you're in Schumacher's position, he's thrown on a set of medium tires. So I'm guessing a lot of the people who are on mediums, they're going to go mediums as far as they can, then throw on softs late in the event. For Higgs, Boston, and Eggety, who are on hards, they may have a better strategy overall, I think, on fewer stops, but will they have the pace to make use of it?
Safety car in this lap then. I'm keeping an eye on Flavor. See what he does.
And the other thing to keep an eye on will be the McLaren fight. Meerkat and Herbago have not been exactly kind to each other. And a hold-up by the two of them could let Zola scoot ahead a bit. And then we don't know about Herbie, Golminator, Dave, or any of those 3. Because, mind you, Herbie and Golminator got up to 2nd and 3rd on the initial start. And they weren't exactly falling back either. So they could end up kind of playing spoiler for Schumacher's chance to try and work his way up through the field.
Yeah, maybe. Flavor's going to have to slow down a little bit. Oh, and he goes into the pits, so actually it's Mantic that's the leader now. The Flavor does pit, but he'll drop all the way to the back of the grid. And maybe the double stack would have been the better option, but we're underway again.
Meerkat pulls a gigantic gap over Herbago. Herbago is decently gapped away from Zola. In fact, the entire grid relatively well spread out on this restart. Also, DRS will likely come into play in about 2 laps, so that will be something to take note of as well. Snake running right there behind the Williams, and Imperium flies, he saves it, and Snake spins to avoid range in the back of Imperium. So now it's Agony who catches up behind the Williams. And he'll go around the outside. Farther up though, Zola is trying to close in on Herbago. He wants to get ahead of Herbago. And mind you, these two only have about 5-6 points separating them in the Drivers' Championship. If Zola can get ahead of Herbago, this would be great for their fight. Meerkat trying to pull off a potential spin and win, assuming that the 10-second time penalties get removed post-race.
Assuming that happens, which it might not, because it depends on the incident, but it probably should.
Well, the 10-second time penalty was given for cutting the track, despite the fact that both of those drivers had gone way off circuit and lost positions. So I would think it would be removed just because they already were harmed bad enough by hitting each other in that instant.
Yeah, and we've got Young Maneuver in the chat saying that Flavor's race is all but done unless there's another safety car.
Well, 2 Flavors credit he threw on the hard tires, but I will say also
he's coming to the end.
Yeah, I will say this though, Flavor historically, his 2 worst circuits in the F1 games have been at Montreal and here at France. So I'm gonna guess that Flavor doesn't like people who speak French or anyone who's in a country where French is a top language. So
yeah. Although he's gone on to hard, so it looks like he's going to the end.
Mercedes, that's Snake, who has gone around again out of turn 2.
If he can gain a bit of time, if Flavor can, then, he might be looking at a top 10. There's only 12 people left in the race.
Zola continues to run behind Herbago on the racetrack. Herbago tries to close on Meerkat, but right now Meerkat has the advantage in this fight. And Herbago is getting all the aero wake of McLaren, but not really maximizing his advantage of draft. Gulminator is pulled up behind Herbie for 4th right now. And Schumacher has not made any forward progress in the grid whatsoever.
Yeah, he's just stuck behind Dave. Over a second, actually, behind Dave. And Gulminator and Herbie are side by side. Gulminator trying to go around the outside. Gets the inside line for the next corner, but he's all over the curb and can't quite get it done. Still looking, but nice. Still behind Herbie.
Herbie keeps missing apexes, and here comes Gulminator with a dive in the final corner. Silver shoots the corner. Herbie gets the position back.
DRS enabled. Zola with the fastest lap.
Zola is saying the fastest lap, trying to run down Herbago, and with DRS in play as well. This could really get interesting. Through 1 and 2, they keep it together for now. But this brings Dave closer into the fray. And Gulminator is still fighting, trying to get by Herbie before they even get to the DRS zone. Because Herbie keeps missing apexes in these corners.
And Dave is all over the back of them now, and that's actually giving Schumacher the chance. And actually, Dave was having a look on the outside there.
Gulminator has a run. He's got DRS. He's going to hold. And now he dives to the inside. Side by side as they come down to the end of the DRS zone. It'll be breakneck pace as they come into the braking zone. Gulminator finally ahead of Herbie. Herbie falls in line.
And
Dave is still back there. He spins, and they're all involved. And Schumacher and Dave cut the track to avoid them.
Herbie went into the back of Gulminator, which forced him to spin, which has now brought Dave and Schumacher into 4th and 5th respectively. Schumacher all over the back of Dave and gets past Dave.
Yes, he makes it stick.
So Schumacher, after all that, is back up to 4th place, 6.6 behind 3rd.
The top 4 drivers are the top 4 in the points, but inverted. So Meerkat, who is the farthest and least likely chance of gaining the championship, is leading right now, and he would close a respectable amount of points on Schumacher right now. but Herbago
Him
is
and
still there in
Herbago.
second, and Herbago, who is third in the championship, has DRS on his teammate. How aggressively will they fight within the team?
We'll have to see. Right now, they're doing a good job of holding Zola back. Zola only 3/10 behind. 3.5 tenths behind, sorry. Dominator
Zola's-
pits. Zola's got
DRS
the
now
but
kicks
so
in
has
once
Frubargo.
again.
And in fact, Mantic is letting Frubargo through. Got to be careful of Zola, though, who's right there. So Frubargo has been let through by his teammate. Good teamwork there.
And that will probably be the end of the race because although Zola has been able to match Herbago on pace, Meerkat's not going to let Zola pass. He's going to do everything he can to hold up the Red Bull driver, and this will let
Definitely.
Herbago get a great run here and possibly walk off with this.
Potentially. We will have to see what happens, though.
Well, again, all Meerkat has to do is stay within DRS range of Herbago, and then by default, Zola's not going to be able to overtake him.
Meerkat, though, only has about 20% ERS, and Zola has about 56% at the minute. It
All right.
depends whether Herbago zooms off into the distance or not, as to whether Zola can get past, but a bit further back in 8th place, we've got E Diggity and Herbie fighting.
Herbie
For
trying to
7th
recover
place.
from the incident between himself and Galminair. Galminair, after his incident, dropped all the way back to 12th position. At the front, Meerkat is closing on Herbago, and now they swap again. So now Meerkat goes in front of Herbago. So the McLarens are doing some swapping shenanigans. Reminds me of IndyCar at Pocono, and they're doing that to make sure that Zola in third doesn't have a chance to overtake either of them. So not only are they playing the team game to help Herbago, they're playing the team game to help each other. They both know that the other driver is going to be faster into the DRS zone, so they move over and let the other driver pass, so that way they both aren't compromising each other's laps. So all that hard feelings left over from Baku seems to be gone now. They have this worked out.
With all the
And-
swapping, though, eventually one of them will make a mistake, and Zola will capitalise on that. But it's all good for now. But we're not even halfway through the race yet.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Tire life is going to become a big issue, and that is another thing that will go in the McLaren's favor, because the McLarens are each spinning about 2/3 to a full lap in clean air. Zola is dealing with dirty air every single lap after lap. He's going to be going through his tires a lot faster than the two McLarens. I think this is working out as a master strategy for the McLarens right now. But here's the other thing to consider. While all this is happening, look in 4th place. Schumacher has closed the gap down to 4.8 seconds. At the rate it's going, Schumacher might be able to fight for 3rd position here.
Maybe.
All right,
But
this time Meerkat does not pull over, so Herbago holds on to 2nd this time by.
And in fact, Zola is a lot closer, although a little bit of a messy chicane. He was a lot closer.
Eggity trying to get a DRS run on Herbie going into this backstretch chicane.
Can't
Can't
quite
make
do
it
it.
stick.
Flavor is
Yeah.
actually catching up a little bit. He's not last anymore.
Yeah, but
15 seconds
Galminator is
behind
about to
10th.
overtake him. Yeah, Galminator has more pace than Flavor, though, and he's likely going to overtake him. Herbago right there behind Meerkat again with DRS. Does Meerkat move over and let Herbago by on the
It
straight?
does.
Yeah, it didn't work out quite as well as I think they were looking for. Meerkat all offline, going through 1 and 2 that time. And Zola is still back there.
He's closer this time. He's about 5/10, half a second behind.
Yeah, but as
When
long as
last lap
these
he was about 6.5.
Yeah, but as long as these two McLarens can make this strat work of swapping every DRS zone, there's nothing Zola's going to be able to do to get by him. I think this is going to give not only McLaren a 1-2, but I think this will give him the lead in the manufacturer's points as well, because one Ferrari is in 4th and one is out of the points right now. Meerkat has a run on Herbago, but does not push it.
Not close enough. They're not close enough to do that. Because Zola's right there, you know, if Herbago were to pull over, that might let Zola in.
Yeah.
Which we don't want to happen. Which they don't want to happen.
Yeah, and again, Herbago and Zola are fighting for the championship right now. So. Egedy still struggling to get by Herbie, but I think this advantage will eventually go in Egedy's favor, because Herbie is on medium tires, Egedy is on hards. The hards will make it to the end of this race. It will be close, but they will make it. But everyone who's on mediums will have to pit again before this is over. Like will jump onto a set of softs. Herbie now has a time penalty trying to keep the AlphaTauri behind him. And so power down on the front stretch again. Meerkat again closes, but the gap opened up enough that it's not really going to have an effect. Also, Higgs Boston is starting to close in on Dave, so I think the medium tires are starting to fall off in pace just a bit compared to the hards.
Maybe. We've got Diggity and Higgs still fighting. Diggity and Herbie, sorry, still fighting. We've got Higgs on the back of Dave as well. Dave having a decent race so far, currently in 5th.
No change in the front three as they come to the end of the DRS zone. Herbago continues to lead over Mantic Meerkat with Zola 3rd and Schumacher a distanced 4th. 5th place is Dave with Higgs Boston pressuring him, but he's not able to get by yet.
Not yet. And Diggity's still all over the back of Herbie. But again, can't get past.
And then there's also going to be a fight for 9th very shortly by the looks of it. Imperium has Snake trying to get by him as well.
Yeah. And Snake does have pace. Generally speaking, Snake is very quick. And actually, Imperium makes a mistake and Snake gets past.
So Snake moves up into 9th now. 6.5 seconds out from Egedy. But I think realistically Snake's real fight is going to be against his teammate Herbie, because he and Herbie will both have to pit before this race is over. Okay, at the front, Meerkat is within 4/10 of Herbago through Sector 1, and they are starting to gap Zola just a bit.
Zola needs to find a little bit of pace. Mantic using all his ERS, he's only got 5%. He will be losing power. Zola's still in that DRS range, and actually MSC is 4.3 seconds behind, so isn't really gaining too much on Zola right now.
Yeah, Zola is falling out of DRS range right now.
He has, yeah.
And I thought this might happen because, like I said, the McLarens, they're trading lead every now and again, so their tire life is going to be a lot better than Zola, who's been in the dirty air lap after lap after lap after lap. I think that's why we're starting to see Zola fall off.
Yeah, and the battles we're seeing. This is a classic X3 race, you know, the battles we're seeing, it never disappoints us, does it? With Zola, who pits now. Zola goes into the pits, tries the undercut.
But this means I'm guessing Zola's going to have another set of medium tires he'll throw on to try and go to the end of the race. With only about 13 laps left.
Let's see. Yeah, another set of mediums. Trying to undercut then. Let's see how the McLarens respond. Or if they'll respond.
Yellow flag, and that's Gallminator, who has had a spin there in Sector 3. This will drop him back to 12th. Dave also went ahead and pitted as well this lap. So that will bring an end to his fight. Eggity continues to run right behind Herbie.
Yeah, they were
Can't
just
seem to
side by
get around
side
him.
then. They were just side by side. Higgs and Herbie and Diggity.
So now the question is, do the
They
McLaren
are
drivers
really
start
close.
fighting with each other? I think they are. Meerkat, now that Zola's gone, Meerkat's starting to pressure Herbago down the straights.
I'm watching this fight between Herbie and Diggity. I'll let you know if anything happens while you're watching that. No. No, he just gets closer but nothing happens. Zola down in 7th then, just in front of, just behind that fight that we're seeing. Will the McLarens pit?
They swap.
Yes.
Herbago pits out of lead, but Meerkat's going to stay out. And Herbago, 5-second penalty for speed in the pits.
Oh no, 5 seconds then. That won't get removed. That could be the difference then between 1st and 2nd or even 3rd. Zola then stuck behind Diggity and Herbie. Can he get past with the undercut?
I don't think
this
this is going to
really
work out. No,
annoying.
this isn't going to work out. Herbago's still going to be ahead of Zola, I think. Or maybe not. No, here comes Zola.
Maybe
He's got
not.
a big run.
Let's see. Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, Zola is
Herbago.
by Eggity, and now he sets his sights on Herbie, but Herbie is caught behind Herbago. Zola is not close enough. Herbago holds a position over Zola. Zola now goes by Herbie without issue.
And he actually lost time there, probably because he was stuck behind. Herbie and Diggity. But Mantic Meerkat still needs to pit. And in fact, he's run out of ERS completely. He's on 0%.
So the car's going to be a little bit slower than normal then due to that.
And Zola's using as much ERS as he can to get close to Herbie. He's brought it back down to under a second, so if he can hold that, then DRS he'll have it.
Right now, Schumacher and Herbago have the advantage in DRS when it comes to the top 4 fighting. Also, credit to Higgs. Higgs is now 3rd position. Now, he has time penalties that are going to hurt him. I think Higgs, in this decision to run... And
Mantic.
Meerkat now gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits.
Mantic with 5 seconds. Both McLarens then doing a Ferrari-style strategy.
And speaking of the Ferraris, now Schumacher will take the race lead back, and it is now clean track for him. It's been clean track for a long time for Schumacher, so Schumacher is going to be on a really good set of tires here. I wonder if in the Ferrari camp they'll consider throwing softs onto Schumacher, because we have less than 10 laps. Fastest lap for Zola,
Does
and he's
not
right
get
there
past.
behind... Yeah, he's right behind Meerkat. And Zola, time penalty for cutting turn 1. So the McLarens and the Red Bull are doing nothing but making mistakes on each other right now.
But look how much closer Zola is to Mantic. If he can get past Mantic, then he can focus all his
Meerkat's
sights on
gonna hold.
catching up.
The problem is Meerkat's gonna hold Zola up in every way, and that will let Herbago stretch out a bit. I think Herbago is still gonna win this race in the end.
Zola has DRS.
But Zola also has almost
not
no
catching
ERS. Look at this. Zola is almost at 0% ERS at the end of the straight there.
I know he used all his ERS to try and catch up as much to Herbago as possible.
And with Meerkat and Zola both almost out of ERS, that means Herbago is going to be able to scoot away.
Sorry, a bit further back, we've got Diggity and Herbie side by side, but again...
Eggity
Herbie.
finally is by Herbie.
Oh, yeah,
It's taken the AlphaTauri forever, but the medium tires have absolutely fallen off enough to let the AlphaTauri pass.
And finally he gets past. I think now might be the time then for Herbie to go into the pits. Flavor's up into 10th now. So at least he'll be getting a point potentially. And Herbie does go into the pits.
Herbago's now
sets
just set the fastest lap. So yeah, Herbago is now left Meerkat in the dust. The thing for Herbago is that he is going to have to overtake Higgs Boston on track on merit, but once he does that, this race is clear for him because Schumacher will still have to make a stop, and when he does, he's going to end up in the middle of a pack of cars fighting for about the third position. He won't be able to catch Herbago. So Herbago is going to walk off into the sunset with this victory, assuming that Higgs Boston doesn't provide a problem for him.
We'll have to see. Right now, the gap is 2 seconds. MSC still needs to pit. Oh, big lock up there from Herbago.
Oh, big twitch by Meerkat in front of Zola going
Yeah.
into the chicane.
Yeah. The gap 6/10. The rest of the grid are spread out quite a bit now. So this is the main battle going on track. Zola and Mantic battle for fourth.
Here comes Schumacher into the pits now, out of the lead. And good
And
news
I'm
for
not
Schumacher.
sure.
Schumacher
Oh, sorry.
will not get the time penalty for speeding in the pit, so this could work out in his favor. He might be in the back of this massive glut of cars, but he will not have time penalties while everyone ahead does. And not only that, Schumacher,
And
they're
Higgs-
putting on soft tires.
Higgs
And
is
Boston
pitted.
pits as well. All right, so this gives Herbago an easy win now. Herbago
Yeah.
completely gone from the rest of the field. No one is going to catch him.
This is what it was before, but except the gap is bigger. I mean, Mantic is doing just enough to hold up Zola here. Zola can't quite find the pace that he needs
Also,
to get past.
credit to Egedy. He has gotten the AlphaTauri up into fourth now. Now Schumacher will be fifth behind him on softs, way faster. He's going to have to time the overtake so he doesn't get a time penalty either. Because if Schumacher can just get up there around Egedy and get behind Zola, he will at least overtake Zola and Meerkat for this win due to the way time penalties are working out. I
But
think
again,
Schumacher might be able to
Meerkat
get
and Zola
second
will
if he
get
gets...
them.
Yeah, they'll get 10 seconds removed, but if I look at the time penalties, Meerkat has 5 seconds still, and Zola still has
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
So Schumacher can get right behind those two. He can still get second out of this race.
Only 7 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to all come down to how efficiently can Schumacher dispose of the AlphaTauri ahead.
And it's like last time in X3 as well, MSC trying to fight his way through the pack on fresh tyres.
Zola has now
They'll be hoping
fallen
it's a
out of
different-
DRS. Zola has fallen out of DRS range from the McLaren. Galminator now overtakes Imperium for 11th. Down the back straightaway. But right now, they're both more than 7 seconds out from Flavor, the last place position for points. And Zola totally out of ERS. So is Mantic Meerkat pretty much. So those two will just continue to kind of slow each other down because they keep burning up each other's ERS. But as I say that, Egedy is not closing on them. Schumacher is still out of DRS range of the AlphaTauri. I don't know how much
pits.
longer it's going to stay, though. Yellow flag,
Make
Galminator,
pits.
another spin in Sector 3.
And MSC is already within DRS range of Diggity.
Egedy has a lot more ERS, though, that he can use as a defense. Down the back straightaway. 3/10, a quarter, a fifth. Coming down to it, a tenth, side by side under braking. And Schumacher shoots ahead. He'll get it.
Yeah, easy.
So now Schumacher needs to get rid of a 7.3 second gap between himself and Zola and Meerkat ahead if he wants to get onto the podium.
Yeah, he's got to grind it out, and it's more than a second a lap that he's got to lose. Just like the last race here, the last race in X3 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the one thing that will help Schumacher out, though, is that Zola and Meerkat have both burned up all of their ERS. And Schumacher is still good on his ERS right now. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I'm not sure either.
The other thing is that Zola is falling
Time
off
will
of
tell.
Meerkat more and more as this goes on. Reminder, Zola pitted 2 laps earlier than Meerkat, and he's been in the aero wake of the McLarens this entire time. So he is definitely going through his tires a lot faster than Meerkat is. So with that in mind, I think Schumacher catching Zola is it will be close, but I think that will almost be a given. I don't know if Schumacher will be able to do anything to the McLarens at the front, though.
Saying
Again,
that, Zola does have his 6-second penalty, so all Schumacher really needs to do is be within that 6 seconds.
And this will more than likely kick Zola out of second in the points fight, drop him down to third. Meerkat not close enough in the points fight to really close, but he is still going to gain on Zola at least. For Meerkat, if Herbago misses a few races, if Schumacher and Zola miss a few races, Meerkat could go right into championship contention. It's basically a 4-man fight, and Snake has had a spin
Maybe.
in turns 1 and 2, and this will bring Flavor up potentially into the 9th position. Yes, it does.
And he gets it, yeah. Bit of a recovery from Flavor, up into 9th now. A great for the construction points, though, the McLarens.
Yeah, this will easily put them right back on top in the Manufacturers' Championship.
Yeah, they'll be getting plenty of points here. And MSC is within the 6 seconds of Zola. Needs to gain a little bit more, though, to get into the 5-second range that he needs for second place Mantic. He needs about 3 seconds.
Big thing with Schumacher is that his soft tires might end up falling off in the last 2 laps. He doesn't want to go too hard on this, otherwise he risks killing the car. Imperium now gets a time penalty for track violations.
And Golminator and Imperium right at the back are fighting for 11th. Only 3/10 the gap.
Also, Higgs Boston is there behind Dave. Dave is on older medium tires. Boston was one of the last drivers to jump onto another set of medium, so he will have a tire advantage here in this fight for 6th. Agadi, great job on him. It looks like he's going to work out on the hard tires and bring home a 5th place finish.
Higgs did not need to pit onto the mediums, though. He could have been up there in the top 4, top 5.
Yeah. Oh,
Another
Zola,
3
another time
seconds.
penalty! And that's going to be huge for Schumacher.
And Golminator gets past Imperium for 11th place.
Boston on the inside of Dave. Drag race for the 6th position. And the Alfa Romeo will lose the spot to the Aston Martin now.
They've just got to keep his concentration. Only a few laps left. It's still points.
Another fight, though, is going to be for 9th because Snake spins. Just as I say that, Snake spins out of 10th. He's going to lose his chance to go after Flavor for 9th. So soft tires are not agreeing with the Mercedes of XRL Snake. Snake, 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That's bullcrap, but I'll believe it. But that promotes Golminator now up into 10th.
And the rain is starting again, it seems. I've just seen a few drips of rain.
Oh my, and this could have a massive impact on the
goodness.
end of this race. Will the
The
track
rain is
wetten up
starting
enough?
again.
Yeah, is the track going to wetten up enough to cause an issue? But here's the thing, if you go ahead and throw on the intermediate tires, you're going to lose so much time, you're not going to be able to gain it back. The track itself is not wet yet.
No, it's only just started. I think even if it does go to intermediate tyres, I don't think we'll see anyone pitting. Herbie with 3 seconds. MSC, the gap is now 5.4. Zola. And these drivers have...
I think
Oh,
Schumacher
Golminator's
realizes that Schumacher realizes there's no chance for him to overtake the top 2 McLaren, so he's not going to kill himself. He's just maintaining his tires so he can stay within overtaking range of Zola when it comes to post-race time penalties.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the strategy that he should be... That's the thing he should be doing, you know? Keep the time.
But the big question, of course, is going to be rain. How wet is the track going to be at the end here?
And we just spoke about changing tyres. Golminator has gone on to intermediate tyres.
Yeah, but Golminator is out of the points-paying position. He's back there in 12th. He needs to throw some sort of swing and a hit. Try to do something crazy to get back into the points. 3 laps to go right now.
Yeah, it's like the bottom of the 9th inning now. Needs to hit a home run, and he spins!
And that's right in front of the leaders
He's
as
going to
well.
get lapped. Got to be careful here. He's gone on
Track
too early, and in
still-
fact, nah, he's gonna let him through. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gone
the
on way
track
too
is-
early.
The track is still dry for the moment, with roughly 2.5 laps left. Well, it was a bold strategy, Golminator, but it did not pay out.
Unfortunately, not. He's lost so much time as well. It's nowhere near wet enough yet, but it was worth a try considering the positions. DRS is
DRS has
disabled.
been turned off, so maybe this is it, baby. Maybe
Oh,
Golminator can
wow.
get back on, and now Snake is pitting. I think Snake is getting onto the intermediates, so that puts Imperium back into 10th.
Gosh.
So will the leaders put on intermediates or not? It will be a 2-lap sprint to the end. Do you
Rubago
risk
hasn't.
it? Yeah,
Rubago
Herbago stays
hasn't.
out. What about Meerkat?
So does
Meerkat stays out.
Meerkat.
Zola, is he gonna stay out?
Yeah.
And Schumacher, I assume, will probably stay out as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the track is wet. The track is wet, gentlemen and ladies. The
Oh,
track
for
is
goodness
wet.
sake.
So it's going to be 100% driver skill. Every single driver in the top 10 has to utilize the absolute maximum amount of driver skill to make it to the end. And Golminator, despite the fact that the track is wet, he spins out again on the intermediates. I'll let you make the assumption of that you want to. But now the top at 10 all has to survive on solid, dry tires on a wet track. This is going to be
Golminator
100%
spins
driver
again.
skill.
Dominator spins again. The
Herbie
gaps
pits
are
out of
quite
8th
big,
now.
but it takes one mistake. Herbie has a 15-second gap though, so he can afford to. He's not going to catch Dave, and he's not going to lose out to Flavor.
Flavor is pitting. Flavor is pitting out 9th.
Mantic has lost so much time. 6 seconds, the gap.
Yeah,
Zola,
Herbago can stay out
4.3.
without issue. I think Meerkat and Zola and Schumacher, they've all totally lost time. Schumacher might not even finish 3rd because he is being so
Golminator
cautious.
goes again right in front of, who was it? E Diggity, I think.
The track is soaked now. Will Herbago stay out? I think Herbago can go ahead and do whatever he wants. Yeah, Herbago's staying out for another lap.
Only one more lap left. It's a bit late now to pit. There's
Meerkat
not really
stays
much
out.
point in pitting.
Yeah, Zola stays out. Schumacher is going to come home, I think, 4th in the end because on the soft tires are also worn. He doesn't have the ability to keep up on this wet track. It's not like he can utilize the ERS he has. This could work out in a small way for Herbie and Flavor, because Flavor is 6 seconds out from Imperium on this final lap, but he is closing that gap down with speed. Oh wow, Flavor is already down to less than 4 seconds
Yeah.
out from Imperium, so there may be... Yeah, Flavor's going to get Imperium because Flavor doesn't have time penalties and Imperium does.
Wow. Coming up then to the final sector are the top 2 drivers, Rubago and Mantic Meerkat. Higgs
told you
is
Herbago
only a
was
second
getting-
behind E Diggity.
Yeah, I told you Herbago was going to get this.
Yeah, you did. And
Also, in that fight
fact,
for 5th and 6th, Higgs has time penalties, Eggity does not, so I think this will go in Eggity's favor even if Higgs gets by here.
yeah, just no mistakes. They are side by side. They are racing here. There's no need to, really.
Flavor's
All the
already by
drivers struggling,
Imperium,
and
and now
in
Snake!
fact,
And Imperium spins!
Golminator-
Imperium spins on his medium tires! So Imperium drops out of the points paying positions! And here comes Dave! He sees this fight between... Oh wow, and that's Golminator who's really kind of the wild card in this. But Eggity now falls behind
Golminator's
Higgs.
forcing his way through.
But at the front,
Rubago.
Herbago will take home the victory. Mantic Meerkat will come home 2nd. Zola will come home
Zola.
3rd.
He'll lose out though to MSC.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, but Zola will lose 3rd to Schumacher.
in fact,
Schumacher
he
jump. Yeah, they say Schumacher jumps to second, but I don't think that's actually going to be the case because Meerkat will likely have 10 seconds taken off at the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There's still interesting stuff that went on for the rest of the grid. Look at this. Dave, he's in 7th.
We will see.
He will come across the line 7th. Herbie will be 8th. And Flavor, despite his numerous incidents today, he will recover in the points with 9th. So Flavor continues to finish races in the points-paying positions, and at one of his worst tracks in general, so great job on his part.
Yeah.
And Snake, despite spinning so many times on the softs, he went ahead, rolled the dice through on the intermediates, and got him back into the points by the end of this race.
Yeah, it did. Flavor then will come home in 9th. With no penalties, in fact. No time penalties for Flavor. And then Snake will be 10th. Imperium, the last to finish, in 11th place.
So we'll try and talk with our podium finishers here after a very, very interesting race. Bookended by rain at the start and rain at the end.
Lots and lots of rain.
But the big thing to consider is that
There
your
we
top
are.
4 in the championship still finished top 4 in the points overall. Trying to get Herbago into the party here. And driver of the day, Eggity, I agree with that. I think Eggity really pulled that out in the end. Great job on his part. Trying to talk with our podium finishers here real quickly. Trying to get Herbago and Meerkat into the party. All right, but we do have one person in the party right now, and that is the driver we believe will in the end be credited with 3rd after post-race penalties are adjusted. Schumacher SF7, come home 3rd position. What do you have to say about that race?
Yeah, it was alright. I don't like the track. I really don't like this track. So, don't suit my driving style. So, Mantic Meerkat give me a little love tap in T2, what sent me spinning. So, little dirty games already going on, but never mind. But yeah, don't like the track. Bring it home to 3rd. I'll take that. I just don't like the track. It's T1, T2. Just you go in there wrong, you spin it. So I thought bring it home, keep no penalties, and just bring it home basically. That's it. That's all I did. But it was just a crap weekend for Ferrari. Me and Martin both don't like this track. He tried the hards going to the end. It kind of didn't work, backfired on him, but never mind. We go again at Hungary, where it's a suitable track for people, so I know what I've got to do. I like it. It's Sector 2, that's a bit of a bitch around there, so otherwise, yeah. But not worried about the Mercs, the McLarens, because they're going to miss races throughout the season, so yeah.
All right, well, you will go ahead and extend your points lead over Zola at least, and you still have more than a race worth of points over the top McLaren at the moment. Manufacturers Championship-wise, really kind of bad hit. You come home 3rd and 9th in the end when it could have been better. Do you think you guys have a way to rebound going forward in the manufacturers fight?
They're going to miss races. Plus, people dump. I'm going to keep some tactics to myself, but let's just say people drive erratically and use deploy a bit too much, and certain drivers in here keep it back and use it for right. You've used it, now I'm just going to go past you. So.
All right. Well.
Yeah,
either way, good job on recovering to the podium, mate. Now I want to talk to our second place finisher, Mantic Meerkat. Herbago will not be able to join us. He says that he is having mic issues. Meerkat, go ahead, include your audio. What is it? I'm guessing you guys ate your Wheaties this morning. Jesus Christ, you guys continue to be the class of the field, 1-2 again for the McLaren camp. What do you have to say about that drive, Meerkat? So I guess with that in mind, we can assume that there's no hard feelings left over from Baku then. All right, well, with the finish today, more than likely you guys should inherit the lead in the constructors. So great job on that. If you didn't inherit it, you closed in really bloody close. So great job on that. What do you think that you guys with the McLarens found something in testing before Baku that has carried on throughout the rest of the season? Or is it something else that has pulled you guys out with this incredible pace now? All right. Well, great job on the finish, mate. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Great job on the second place and the excellent strategy and teamwork you pulled out there. All right, and that will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here for X3 at France. If you want more XRL racing, though, in about an hour's time, you can catch the X2 race. That will also be at France. That will be a slightly larger field in a very bizarre championship fight that's been going down there. I believe Zola will be the one broadcasting that race. I have a race of my own. I have to attend a different series. But anyways, I've been your host in St. Lear 13. I've been joined by XRL Shikari. I want to say thank you to him. And with that, goodbye and good day.